My name is Natasha Patel. I'm 31 years old, and 2 months ago, I woke up alone in a hospital ICU after emergency surgery for a ruptured appendix that nearly killed me. My parents were 45 minutes away. They didn't come. 3 days later, they drove 6 hours to attend my younger sister's gender reveal party. That's when I changed the beneficiary on my $2.3 million life insurance policy from my parents to the nurses who actually saved my life. The fallout has been nuclear. My parents are threatening to sue. My sister says I'm being petty and vindictive. My extended family has chosen sides. And honestly, I sleep better than I have in years. But this story doesn't start with a hospital bed or a gender reveal party. It starts 31 years ago when I was born female instead of the son my parents desperately wanted, and spent the next 3 decades trying to earn the love they gave freely to the daughter who came after me. Please like and subscribe if this story resonates, but only if it genuinely does. Drop your location and local time in the comments. I need to know I'm not the only one who finally stopped setting themselves on fire to keep ungrateful people warm. I grew up in Edison, New Jersey, in an Indian American family where appearances mattered more than reality, and family loyalty was a one-way street that always flowed toward my younger sister, Priya. My parents, Raj and Meera Patel, immigrated from Gujarat, India in 1987. They came with medical degrees that weren't recognized in the U.S., so my father retrained and became a pharmacist while my mother worked as a medical transcriptionist. They sacrificed, worked brutal hours, saved every penny, and built a comfortable middle-class life. I was born in 1993, their first child. They'd wanted a son, in their generation. In their culture, sons were everything. Daughters were temporary, destined to join another family. Sons were legacy, retirement plans, carriers of the family name. They got me instead. My mother cried for 3 days after my birth. My father's parents, my grandparents still in India, sent a telegram that said, "Better luck next time." I grew up hearing the story of my disappointing arrival like it was funny, like it was something we could all laugh about now. "We were so upset when you were born," my mother would tell relatives at parties, laughing. "We wanted a boy so badly, but then Priya came and she was so beautiful, so perfect, we forgot all about being disappointed." Priya was born when I was 5. She was the beautiful one, the charming one, the one who could do no wrong. She had my mother's delicate features and my father's easy charisma. I had my father's square jaw and my mother's thick eyebrows, handsome features on a girl who should have been pretty. The favoritism wasn't subtle. It was blatant, shameless, undeniable. When I was 7 and Priya was 2, I won first place in a school science fair. My volcano was the best in the entire 2nd grade. I came home with my blue ribbon, so proud, ready to show my parents. My mother glanced at it. "That's nice, Beta. Can you watch your sister? I need to start dinner." That same year, Priya took her first steps. My parents threw a party, invited 20 people, made a video, called relatives in India to share the news. When I was 10, I made the school honor roll, straight A's, perfect attendance, commendation from the principal. My parents said, "Good job," and put the certificate in a drawer. When Priya was 5, she colored a picture that stayed inside the lines. My parents framed it. It hung in the living room for 3 years. The pattern was set early and never changed. I achieved, Priya existed. My accomplishments were expected, unremarkable, barely worth acknowledging. Priya's basic developmental milestones were celebrated like Olympic victories. Piano recitals, science competitions, academic awards, volunteer work. I did everything I could think of to earn their attention, their pride, their love. Nothing worked. Every achievement was met with, "That's good, but don't get a big head about it," or, "Okay, but what about next time?" Meanwhile, Priya could literally do nothing and receive praise. "Oh, look how pretty she looks today. Did you hear how sweetly she laughed? She's going to break so many hearts when she grows up." When I was 16, I was accepted into a prestigious summer program at MIT for high-achieving STEM students. Full scholarship, incredible opportunity, exactly the kind of thing that should make immigrant parents burst with pride. My father looked at the acceptance letter. "This is in Boston. That's very far. Who will help your mother with Priya while you're gone? It's only 6 weeks and Priya is 11 years old. She doesn't need that much help. Eh. You're always so selfish, Natasha. Always thinking about yourself. Family comes first. I didn't go to MIT. I stayed home and babysat my 11-year-old sister who was perfectly capable of entertaining herself, but apparently needed round-the-clock supervision when it meant keeping me from opportunities. That same summer, Priya wanted to go to cheerleading camp. It cost $1,200, conflicted with a family wedding, and required my parents to drive her 2 hours each way every day for a week. They did it without hesitation. Of course you can go, baby! You'll be the prettiest cheerleader there. The double standard was so obvious, so constant, that I stopped questioning it. This was just how things were. Priya was the sun, and I was supposed to orbit around her, reflecting her light, making sure she shined. I went to Rutgers for college, stayed local because why waste money on out-of-state tuition when we have perfectly good schools here? I'd been accepted to Cornell, to Northwestern, to schools that would have transformed my life. But those schools were expensive, far away, and would have required my parents to acknowledge that I was worth investing in. Priya went to Syracuse, 4 hours away, out-of-state tuition, more expensive than any school I'd applied to. She needs the full college experience, my mother said. Living away from home, being independent. I lived at home during college, commuted to campus, helped with housework, babysat when needed. Saved my parents thousands in room and board. Never received a thank you or acknowledgement that I was making sacrifices. I graduated with a degree in biomedical engineering, summa cum laude, accepted a job at a pharmaceutical company in research and development. Good salary, excellent benefits, challenging work. My parents' response? That's nice. Did you know Priya made the dean's list? We're so proud of her. Priya had a 3.2 GPA. I'd had a 3.9. But sure, her mediocre achievement was more impressive than my excellence. The employment double standard continued. I worked 60-hour weeks, climbed the corporate ladder, earned promotions and raises. By the time I was 28, I was a senior research scientist making $175,000 a year. My parents never asked about my work, never visited my office, never told relatives about my success. Priya graduated, couldn't find a job in her field, communications, worked part-time as a social media coordinator for a local boutique making $35,000 a year. My parents bragged about her to everyone. Priya is so creative. She's doing social media for a business. She's so talented. When I bought my first house at 29, a 3-bedroom colonial in a nice neighborhood, something I'd saved for and earned through my own hard work, my parents came to see it once. Stayed for 20 minutes, criticized the paint colors. When Priya got engaged at 26 to her boyfriend Amit, my parents threw an engagement party for 150 people, spent $15,000 on the celebration, cried tears of joy, and posted about it on Facebook constantly. They spent more on Priya's engagement party than they'd contributed to my entire college education. The wedding was worse, $80,000. My parents paid for everything. Venue, catering, flowers, photographer, Priya's dress, the whole extravagant affair. 400 guests, 3-day celebration, traditional Indian ceremony followed by American reception. It was beautiful. Priya looked like a princess. My parents glowed with pride. I was a bridesmaid. I helped plan, addressed invitations, organized the bridal shower, did everything a good older sister should do. During the wedding, my mother introduced me to distant relatives as our older daughter. She's still unmarried, with a tone that implied I was defective. I was 29. I had a successful career, owned my own home, was financially independent. But because I wasn't married, I was somehow less valuable than Priya, who'd never lived independently and was marrying the first man who'd seriously dated her. After the wedding, Priya and Amit moved into an apartment 15 minutes from my parents' house. Close enough for weekly dinners, constant visits, daily phone calls. I lived 45 minutes away. I was invited to family dinners maybe once a month. My parents visited my house maybe twice a year. The effort was never reciprocal. I drove to them constantly for birthdays, holidays, random Sundays when my mother called and said, "Come for dinner, we haven't seen you." They never drove to me unless they needed something, which brings me to 2 months ago, to the moment everything changed. I woke up on a Tuesday morning with stomach pain. Bad pain, but I'd had stomach issues before, so I took some antacids and went to work. By noon, the pain was excruciating. By 2 p.m., I was on the floor of my office bathroom, unable to stand. My coworker found me and called a 911. Ruptured appendix. The ER doctor told me later that I'd been maybe an hour away from sepsis, from dying. They rushed me into emergency surgery, removed the burst appendix, cleaned out the infection, pumped me full of antibiotics. I woke up in the ICU at 7 p.m., alone, disoriented, in pain, with tubes in my arms and machines beeping around me. The nurse, a kind woman named Jennifer, held my hand while I cried. "Do you want us to call someone? Family? Friends?" I gave her my parents' number. She called. My mother answered. "Mrs. Patel, this is Jennifer from Robert Wood Johnson Hospital. Your daughter Natasha is here. She had emergency surgery for a ruptured appendix. She's stable now, but she's in the ICU. She's asking for you." I could hear my mother's voice through the phone, tinny and distant. "Oh, my goodness. Is she okay?" "Yes, she's stable, but she'd really like to see family." "We'll try to come tomorrow. We have plans tonight. Tell her we'll call her." Plans. They had plans. Jennifer hung up, her expression carefully neutral. "They said they'll try to visit tomorrow." I knew they wouldn't come, and I was right. They didn't come Wednesday, didn't come Thursday, didn't come Friday when I was moved from ICU to a regular room, didn't come Saturday when I was discharged and had to call an Uber to take me home because I wasn't allowed to drive myself after major surgery. They called once, Thursday evening, my mother sounding irritated that I'd inconvenienced them with this health emergency. "How are you feeling?" "I'm okay. It was really scary though. I almost died." "Well, you're fine now. That's good. Listen, did you know Priya is pregnant? We just found out. We're going to be grandparents." She wanted to talk about Priya. While I was lying in a hospital bed recovering from surgery that had saved my life, she wanted to talk about Priya's pregnancy. "That's great, Mom. Congratulations." "We're so excited. She's going to do a gender reveal party next month. You'll come, right?" "Yeah, sure." "Okay, good. Feel better. We'll see you soon." They didn't see me soon. I recovered alone in my house for 2 weeks, taking sick leave from work, managing my own post-op care, doing everything myself because I'd learned a long time ago that I couldn't count on my parents for anything. 3 weeks after my surgery, I got the invitation, Priya's gender reveal party. Saturday, 2 p.m. at a venue an hour and a half from my parents' house, 3 hours from mine. My parents were driving 6 hours round trip for a party. They hadn't driven 45 minutes to visit me in the hospital. That's when something in me broke. Or maybe it finally healed. Maybe I finally saw clearly what I'd been refusing to see for 31 years. My parents didn't love me. They tolerated me. I was an obligation, a duty, the disappointing first child who'd had the audacity to be born female when they wanted a son. No amount of achieving, succeeding, or being the perfect daughter would ever change that. So I stopped trying. I didn't go to Priya's gender reveal party. I texted my regrets. "Still recovering from surgery, can't make it. Congratulations." My mother called immediately. "You have to come. It's your sister's special day." "I almost died 3 weeks ago and you didn't visit me in the hospital. I think I can miss a party." Silence. Then, "That's not fair, Natasha. You know we were busy. Busy with what? What was so important that you couldn't spare 2 hours to visit your daughter who had emergency surgery? Don't be dramatic. You were fine. The hospital would have called us if it was serious." It was serious. My appendix burst. I could have died from sepsis. The doctor said I was an hour away from a critical infection. "But you didn't die. You're fine. Why are you making this into such a big deal?" I hung up, turned off my phone, sat in my house and realized with perfect clarity that my parents would never change. They would never see me. They would never value me. And I was done trying to make them. I'd been carrying life insurance since I started my corporate job. $2.3 million in coverage, which sounds like a lot, but I'd gotten it young when premiums were cheap, and I worked in research with hazardous materials, so my company encouraged high coverage. The beneficiary had been my parents since I'd gotten the policy at 23. I'd listed them automatically without thinking, because that's what you do, right? You list your family. Your parents, the people who are supposed to love you unconditionally. But my parents' love wasn't unconditional. It was heavily conditional, and I'd never met the conditions. I'd never been Priya. I'd never been the child they wanted. So why should they benefit from my death? I thought about who had actually been there for me, who had shown up when it mattered. Jennifer, the ICU nurse who'd held my hand and called my parents for me. The surgical team who'd saved my life. The nurses on the recovery floor who'd checked on me every hour, who'd brought me extra blankets, who'd sat with me when I cried about waking up alone. My coworker Melissa, who'd found me on the bathroom floor and called 911, who'd ridden in the ambulance with me, who'd visited me every day in the hospital. My friend Shayna, who'd picked me up when I was discharged, who'd stayed at my house for 3 days to help me recover, who'd brought groceries and cooked meals and made sure I was okay. These people, practical strangers and friends, had shown me more love in my worst moment than my parents had shown me in 31 years. I made an appointment with my insurance agent, updated my beneficiary designation. Primary beneficiary, the nursing staff at Robert Wood Johnson Hospital, ICU. $1 million to be distributed equally among the staff who worked the ICU during my stay. September 17th to 20th, 2024. Secondary beneficiary, Melissa Torres, my coworker who saved my life, $500,000. Tertiary beneficiary, Shayna Goldstein, my best friend who cared for me during recovery, $500,000. Final beneficiary, the American Cancer Society, in memory of the grandmother I never met who died of cancer before I was born, $300,000. My parents, $0. I didn't tell anyone what I'd done. I just filed the paperwork, updated my will to match, and moved on with my life. The gender reveal party happened without me. It was a boy. My parents posted 47 photos on Facebook, their first grandson. The legacy continues. The family name would carry on through Priya's son. Never mind that I'd kept the Patel name professionally, that I'd achieved more than any other family member, that I'd built a life that actually honored the sacrifices my parents had made when they immigrated. None of that mattered because I hadn't produced a male grandchild. I thought that would be the end of it. I'd removed my parents as beneficiaries, protected the people who'd actually earned it, and moved on with my life. But then my Aunt Kavita, my mother's sister, came to visit me, showed up at my house unannounced on a Saturday morning, looking nervous. Natasha, Beta, we need to talk. I let her in, made tea, waited. Your mother is very hurt that you didn't come to Priya's party. I was recovering from surgery. I know, but it's your sister. Family is important. Aunt Kavita, did my mother tell you that I had emergency surgery, that I almost died, that she didn't visit me once in the hospital? My aunt looked uncomfortable. She mentioned you were sick. Huh? I wasn't sick. I had a ruptured appendix. I had emergency surgery. I spent 3 days in the ICU. My parents live 45 minutes away and they didn't come once, but they drove 6 hours to see Priya pop a balloon. Natasha, you have to understand, your parents are from a different generation. In their culture, sons are important, and Priya is having a son. I understand perfectly. I've understood my entire life. I'm not the child they wanted. Priya is. Everything I've done, every achievement, every success, means nothing because I wasn't born with the right chromosomes. That's not true. It is true, and I'm done pretending it isn't. I'm done trying to earn love that's never going to come. I'm done making myself smaller so Priya can seem bigger. I'm done. My aunt left, troubled and uncertain. 2 days later, my mother called. Kavita says you're upset with us. I'm not upset. I'm just done. Done with what? Done trying to be the daughter you wanted. I'm never going to be enough for you. I could win a Nobel Prize and you'd ask why I wasn't married. I could cure cancer and you'd say Priya's Instagram post got more likes. I'm done competing for love. I'm never going to win. You're being ridiculous. I changed my life insurance beneficiary. You're not on it anymore. Silence. Long, shocked silence. What? I have a $2.3 million life insurance policy. You and Dad were the beneficiaries. I changed it. You're not getting anything when I die. How could you do that? We're your parents. And I'm your daughter. The daughter you couldn't be bothered to visit when she almost died. Why should you profit from my death when you couldn't even show up for my life? This is about the hospital? You're punishing us because we didn't visit you one time? It's not about one time. It's about 31 years of being treated like I don't matter. The hospital was just the moment I finally saw it clearly. Who did you leave the money to? People who actually care about me. People who showed up. Your sister is not getting a penny. Neither is her son. Neither are you. The money goes to the people who saved my life and the people who helped me recover. You know, the people who actually acted like family. My mother's voice went cold. You're making a huge mistake. Family is forever, Natasha. These strangers won't be there for you. They were there for me when it mattered. You weren't. That's the difference. I hung up, blocked her number, blocked my father's number, blocked Priya's number. I was done. The family explosion was immediate and catastrophic. My parents told everyone, and I mean everyone, what I'd done. They framed it as a betrayal, an act of cruelty from an ungrateful daughter who'd punished her loving parents for one small misunderstanding. We couldn't visit because we had prior commitments, my father told relatives. And now she's disowned us, cut us out of her will, out of spite. She's always been selfish, my mother added, ever since she was little, always putting herself first. We did everything for her, paid for her education, gave her a good home, and this is how she repays us. My phone, once I unblocked a few select family members to see what was happening, filled with messages. Aunt Kavita. Natasha, please reconsider. Your parents are devastated. They love you. Cousin Rahul. What you did is really messed up. They're your parents. You can't just cut them out. Uncle Vijay. I'm very disappointed in you. In our culture, we respect our elders. This behavior is shameful. Distant relatives I barely knew weighed in with their opinions about my moral failings, my selfishness, my cruelty. Only one person defended me, my father's younger brother, Uncle Arjun, who'd always been the black sheep of the family because he'd married a white woman and moved to California. Good for you, he texted. I've watched your parents treat you like garbage for 30 years. Don't let anyone guilt you into backing down. Priya called from a number I didn't recognize, got through before I realized who it was. How could you do this to Mom and Dad? They're heartbroken! Where were they when I was heartbroken and alone in a hospital bed? You're never going to let that go, are you? They were busy, Natasha. They have lives. They can't drop everything every time you have a medical issue. I had a ruptured appendix. I almost died. That's not a medical issue. That's a life-threatening emergency. And they couldn't spare 2 hours to see me. They called. They checked on you. One phone call in 5 days. And when Mom called, all she wanted to talk about was your pregnancy. Do you understand how that felt? To be dying and have my own mother care more about your gender reveal than my survival? You're so dramatic. You didn't die. You're fine. I'm fine because doctors and nurses saved me, not because my family gave a damn. And now you're leaving millions of dollars to strangers, to nurses you barely know? That money should stay in the family? Why? What has this family ever done for me except make me feel like I don't matter? We love you. No, you don't. You love Priya. You tolerate me. There's a difference, and I'm finally accepting it. Priya's voice turned cold, calculating. You're going to regret this. When you're old and alone, you'll realize what you threw away, and we won't be there to help you. You've never been there to help me. This changes nothing except my bank account distribution when I die. She hung up. I blocked the number. The family pressure intensified. My parents started showing up at my house unannounced. I didn't answer the door. They left notes. We need to talk. You're being unreasonable. We love you. Please call us. They showed up at my office. Security escorted them out after I told them I didn't want to see them. They sent relatives to intercede. Aunts, uncles, family friends, even their priest from the temple. Everyone with the same message. Family is forever. Forgive them. Change the beneficiary back. Don't be stubborn. No one asked why I'd done it. No one acknowledged that maybe, just maybe, my parents had failed me in a fundamental way. Except Uncle Arjun, who called me from California. Your mother called me, crying, asked me to talk sense into you. And I told her I agreed with you, that she and Raj have treated you terribly for 30 years, that you don't owe them anything. How'd she take that? She hung up on me. I'm probably uninvited from Diwali now. He laughed. Worth it. Natasha, listen to me. You did the right thing. Don't let them manipulate you with guilt. You don't owe anyone your death benefits just because you share DNA. Thank you. I needed to hear that. I know. I've been where you are. Not the same situation, but I know what it's like to be the disappointment, the black sheep, the one who doesn't fit the family mold. Walking away is hard but necessary. You'll be okay. My parents tried a different tactic. They hired a lawyer. I received a letter from Patterson and Associates, attorneys at law, demanding I restore my parents as beneficiaries of my life insurance policy and threatening legal action if I didn't comply. I forwarded it to my own lawyer, a woman named Rebecca Singh who specialized in estate law and family disputes. She called me after reading it. They can't sue you for this. You have the legal right to name anyone you want as your beneficiary. This letter is intimidation, nothing more. Can they actually take me to court? They can file a lawsuit, but it'll be dismissed immediately. There's no legal basis. Life insurance beneficiaries are the policyholder's choice. Your parents have no claim to your death benefits. What should I do? Ignore it. If they actually file suit, we'll respond and get it thrown out. But I doubt they'll go that far once their lawyer explains they have no case. She was right. The legal threats stopped after one letter. But the emotional manipulation didn't. My mother sent me a letter, handwritten, 12 pages long, detailing all the sacrifices they'd made for me. Every dollar spent, every opportunity provided, every parental duty fulfilled. She itemized it like a bill. We paid for your education, $60,000. We provided housing, food, clothing for 18 years. Estimated $200,000. We gave you a good life, a stable home, love and support. And this is how you repay us? By cutting us out of your life and your will? She wanted reimbursement. Financial or emotional, I couldn't tell. But the message was clear. They'd kept a tally of everything they'd spent on me, and I owed them. I didn't respond. I shredded the letter and didn't look back. The breaking point came at Diwali, the Festival of Lights, the biggest holiday in Hindu culture, a time for family gatherings and reconciliation. I didn't plan to go to my parents' house. I'd been no contact for 6 weeks, and I had no intention of breaking that for a holiday. But Priya, heavily pregnant now, due in January, showed up at my door. We need to talk. Can I come in? Against my better judgment, I let her in. She sat on my couch, hand on her swollen belly, and looked at me with tears in her eyes. I don't understand why you're doing this. We're sisters. We're family. How can you just walk away? How can you not understand? Priya, you've been the favorite your entire life. You got everything. Attention, praise, support, money. I got nothing, and you never once noticed or cared. That's not true. It is true. When I won the science fair, no one cared. When you colored inside the lines, they framed it. I got into better schools than you. I have a better career than you. I own my own home. And none of it matters because you exist. You're the beautiful one, the special one, the one who produces grandsons. You're jealous. I'm not jealous. I'm exhausted. I spent 31 years trying to compete for scraps of attention while you got the whole feast. I'm done competing. So you're punishing mom and dad and me? I'm not punishing anyone. I'm protecting myself. I changed my beneficiary to people who actually showed up when I needed them. That's not punishment. That's common sense. Priya's tears turned angry. That money should go to family, to your nephew. You're going to leave millions to strangers instead of your own family? My family didn't show up when I was dying. My family never showed up for anything that mattered to me. So yes, I'm leaving money to people who actually acted like family. You're going to regret this. When this baby is born, when you see your nephew, you're going to feel so guilty. I won't, because I've realized something important. You can't guilt someone who's finally stopped carrying guilt that was never theirs to carry. What does that even mean? It means I spent 31 years feeling guilty for not being enough, for not being the son they wanted, for not being you, and I'm done. The guilt isn't mine, it's theirs, for being terrible parents who played favorites. And it's yours, for benefiting from that favoritism and pretending you didn't notice. I didn't notice! I was just being myself. And I was just existing, and somehow I was the problem. Well, I'm not the problem anymore. I'm just gone. Priya stood up, awkward in her pregnancy. Fine, walk away. But when this baby is born, when there are birthdays and holidays and family moments, don't come crawling back. You're choosing to be alone. I'm choosing peace. There's a difference. She left. I didn't cry. I just felt lighter. The baby was born in January, a healthy boy named Rohan. My parents posted 94 photos on Facebook, their first grandson, the light of their lives, the future of the family. I saw the photos because well-meaning friends sent them to me. Did you see your nephew? He's adorable. He was adorable, and he was nothing to do with me. I sent a baby gift, nice one, expensive, with a card that said, "Congratulations on your son. Wishing you all the best. Polite, distant, final." My mother called from yet another new number. I answered without thinking. Did you see the baby? Your nephew? Don't you want to meet him? I sent a gift. That's sufficient. Sufficient? He's your nephew, your family. He's Priya's son. You're welcome to love him and spoil him the way you loved and spoiled Priya. I'm sure he'll have a wonderful life. How can you be so cold? I learned from the best. You were cold to me for 31 years. I'm just returning the favor. I hung up, blocked the number, moved on. Work became my sanctuary. I threw myself into research, took on additional projects, mentored junior scientists. I was promoted to principal research scientist, leading my own team, making $220,000 a year. I sent my parents a photo of myself at the promotion ceremony, wearing the traditional South Asian formal wear they'd always criticized me for not wearing. My entire team was there, celebrating me, proud of me. The caption was simple: promoted, grateful for people who actually celebrate my achievements. Petty, maybe, but satisfying. I also reached out to the people I'd named as beneficiaries, not to tell them about the insurance, that felt morbid, but to thank them for being there when it mattered. Jennifer, the ICU nurse, met me for coffee. "You didn't have to do this," she said when I gave her a thank you gift, a nice set of nursing supplies she'd mentioned wanting. I was just doing my job. "You held my hand when I woke up alone and scared. That was above and beyond your job. Thank you." Melissa, my coworker who'd called 911, became a closer friend. We started having regular dinners, supporting each other through work stress and life challenges. Shayna, my best friend who'd cared for me during recovery, already knew how much I appreciated her. But I made sure to tell her more often. "You're the sister I wish I'd had. Thank you for choosing me as family." I built a chosen family. People who showed up, who cared, who celebrated my successes and supported me through failures. Blood meant nothing. Choice meant everything. Section 5. Resolution and Peace. It's been 11 months since I changed my beneficiary designation. 11 months since I went no contact with my parents and sister. 11 months since I stopped carrying guilt that was never mine to carry. I'm 32 now, sitting in my home office, looking at photos from last weekend when my chosen family celebrated my birthday. Shayna, Melissa, Jennifer, and several other nurses I'd stayed in touch with, my coworkers, my book club friends, 20 people who genuinely cared about me showed up. My parents didn't call. Priya didn't text. I didn't miss them. Let me tell you where everyone is now. My parents are grandparenting Rohan with the intensity they never showed me. My mother posts daily photos on Facebook. Rohan's first tooth, Rohan's first laugh, Rohan sleeping, Rohan existing. Every milestone is documented, celebrated, treated as miraculous. I'm genuinely happy for Rohan. He didn't ask to be born into this family dynamic. I hope he grows up loved and valued. I hope Priya's next child, if she has another, receives equal love regardless of gender. But that's not my problem anymore. Priya and Amit bought a house, 5 minutes from my parents, of course. My parents helped with the down payment, $40,000, the same parents who'd refused to help me with any housing costs when I bought my place. The same parents who'd criticized my paint colors and left after 20 minutes. Whatever. Their money, their choice. I stopped caring about the unfairness once I stopped expecting fairness. My career continues to thrive. I'm leading a research team developing a new cancer treatment that could revolutionize care for aggressive tumors. If our trials are successful, this could save thousands of lives. That's my legacy. Not a child, not a family name, but actual measurable impact on the world. And honestly, that feels more meaningful than any grandson could. I'm dating someone, a wonderful man named David who's a pediatric oncologist. He's white, which my parents would hate. They've always wanted me to marry a nice Indian boy. But David is the kindest, most supportive partner I've ever had. He knows about my family situation, knows I'm estranged from them. His response? Good, they sound toxic. You deserve better. No pressure to reconcile, no platitudes about family being important. Just acceptance that I made a healthy choice for myself. We're taking things slow. I'm not rushing into marriage just to prove something to parents who'll never approve anyway. But David feels right in a way that nothing has felt right before. The life insurance policy remains unchanged. My parents haven't sued. Their lawyer probably explained they have no case. The threats have stopped. The guilt trips have lessened. They've mostly moved on to focusing entirely on Rohan and pretending I don't exist. Which is what I wanted. Peace, space, freedom from the constant weight of never being enough. I saw my mother once, accidentally, at an Indian grocery store 6 months ago. We locked eyes across the produce section. She looked older, tired. For a moment, I thought she might approach me. She didn't. She turned and walked away. I felt nothing. No sadness, no anger, no longing for reconciliation. Just indifference. That's when I knew I'd truly healed. Uncle Arjun visited from California last month. We had dinner, talked for hours. He told me he was proud of me for standing my ground. Your parents will never admit they were wrong, he said. They'll go to their graves believing they were perfect parents and you were an ungrateful daughter. That's their burden to carry, not yours. Do you think I did the right thing? Absolutely. Natasha, I watched you your whole life, trying so hard to earn love that should have been freely given. Walking away was the healthiest thing you could have done. Do you think they'll ever change? No, and that's not your problem anymore. He was right. Their inability to love me equally, to value me appropriately, to show up when it mattered, that was their failure, not mine. I stopped trying to fix it because it was never mine to fix. Some people say I went too far, that changing the beneficiary was cruel, vindictive, unnecessary, that I should have just gone to therapy and processed my feelings instead of punishing my parents financially. To them, I say, therapy taught me to set boundaries. Changing the beneficiary was one of those boundaries. I'm not obligated to financially reward people who emotionally neglected me for 31 years. Others say I'll regret it, that when my parents die, I'll wish I'd reconciled, that family is everything and I'm throwing away something irreplaceable. To them, I say, I already grieved the parents I wish I'd had. I grieved them while they were still alive, while I was still trying to earn their love. Walking away wasn't loss, it was acceptance. I accept that they can't give me what I need. I accept that I'll never be Priya in their eyes. I accept that I was the wrong gender, born at the wrong time, with the wrong personality to fit their expectations. And I accept that none of that is my fault. My life insurance policy isn't about punishment, it's about gratitude. When I die, hopefully decades from now, after a long and fulfilling life, my money will go to people who actually saved me, helped me, chose to love me when they had no obligation to. That feels right. That feels like justice. If you're reading this and seeing yourself in my story, if you're the unfavorite child, the one who never measures up, the one who achieves everything and receives nothing, please hear me. You don't owe anyone your life insurance, your inheritance, or your love just because you share DNA. Walking away from family who doesn't value you isn't cruelty, it's self-preservation. Stop setting yourself on fire to keep ungrateful people warm. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not bitter. I'm just free. Free to build relationships with people who actually show up. Free to celebrate my achievements without worrying they'll be diminished. Free to exist without constantly trying to prove I'm worthy of love. My parents made their choice when they didn't show up at my hospital bed. I made mine when I changed one document. I sleep well knowing I protected the people who protected me. And if that makes me selfish, good. I've earned the right to be selfish after 31 years of putting others first and receiving nothing in return. To the nurses who saved my life, thank you. You'll never read this, but you're taken care of. To my chosen family, thank you for loving me on purpose instead of by obligation. To anyone still trying to earn love from people who refuse to give it, stop. You deserve better. Walk away, change the document, choose yourself. Life's too short to die hoping people will finally see your worth. Have you been the unfavorite child who finally walked away? Share your story in the comments. Drop your location and time zone. Let's build a community of people who chose themselves. Like and subscribe if this resonates, but only if it actually does.